I'm Ellen, 37 years old, and if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have told you I'd given up on fresh starts. I was living in a small rented place in Franklin, sharing quiet moments with my cat and old memories with the walls. After a draining divorce and a job that left me empty, I felt like a spark inside me was fading. One day, on a whim, I made a choice that turned my life around. I moved to my grandparents' old farmhouse near Willow Creek, a place that had stood empty for years, surrounded by apple orchards and the hum of fireflies. The house was worn down, no doubt, but it offered something rare. Real peace, deep roots, and a chance to rebuild myself from the ground up. It needed work, new shingles, floors, windows. So I started searching for a carpenter, someone who didn't just shape wood but honored the spirit of the place. A neighbor pointed me toward a local craftsman named Caleb. His hands were steady as cedar, his heart warm as maple. Let me tell you, when I first saw him, I thought someone was pulling my leg. Caleb was tall, sturdy, with a few days' stubble and eyes that held a quiet wisdom. Honest, grounded, like he carried secrets the rest of us hadn't learned. He wore a faded flannel and work jeans, but there was something about his walk, deliberate, unhurried, that caught me off guard. "You Ellen?" he asked, offering a firm handshake. "Yes, come on in." That day, he toured the house, inspecting every corner with care, as if he could sense the stories in the timber. I trailed behind, feeling oddly jittery. At one point, he paused in the dining room. "This joist's rotted through. We'll need to swap it out entirely." "All right, let's do it," he said, like we were already partners. I liked that "let's." We agreed he'd start the following Monday. When he showed up, he pulled up in a weathered gray truck packed with tools, massive saws, long levels, hammers, heavy crates. I was amazed. He unloaded it all with ease, like hauling 60 pounds was no different from carrying a bag of groceries. That day, I offered to pitch in. I knew nothing about woodworking, but I wanted to be near him. He showed me how to steady a plank while he sawed. At one point, I grabbed a power tool, but I flipped it on wrong and it sputtered. He chuckled and stepped close. "Careful there, Ellen. Some things take practice to handle," he said with a playful grin, nothing crude. Still, I felt my face flush. From then on, every day brought a small thrill. While he worked, I brewed coffee, played soft tunes, and sometimes just watched him from the kitchen window. His movements were exact, powerful yet gentle, almost like a dance. He seemed to understand the wood. One evening, I caught him studying an old window frame. "What's on your mind?" I asked. "This frame was built to last." "Like you?" I didn't know how to answer. The days went by and the house began to transform. So did I started sleeping soundly, laughing for no reason, looking forward to his arrival like it was a gift I didn't want to admit I craved. One morning, he brought fresh-baked bread and local cheese. "Thought you might like something better than instant coffee." We ate on the front porch. We didn't talk much, but we didn't need to. His presence steadied me. One afternoon, as we put up a bookshelf in the den, I climbed a ladder and felt dizzy. Caleb was there in a flash, holding me by the waist with strength and care. "Easy now, I've got you." We stayed like that for a moment, his hand on me, my breath uneven. Then I stepped down, silent, but something had shifted. That night I couldn't sleep, thinking of his hands, his gaze, patient, unguarded. I thought of his tools all so weighty, and of him carrying it all so effortlessly. Maybe he wasn't just a carpenter. Maybe he was someone who knew how to mend broken things, even hearts. As weeks passed, the house and I changed in tandem. The walls were clean of cobwebs, and my mind was free of shadows. Caleb became part of my daily rhythm, like my first sip of coffee. Sometimes we chatted about simple things, rain, furniture, oak from the nearby mill. Other times, we'd work in silence, but it was a warm, easy silence. One afternoon, he arrived with a striking tool, a steel level over 2 feet long, etched with hand-carved marks. I laughed, watching him carry it one-handed like it was nothing. "Isn't that overkill for a little shelf?" "Big tools measure what you can't see," he replied. His words sounded simple but lingered in my mind all day. That day, we set up a wooden ledge in the hall. I held it steady while he fastened it. He was so close I could smell the faint scent of sawdust on him. I felt the warmth of his arm brushing past. When he looked at me, even for a second, the world seemed to fade. "You've got a steady hand," he said, driving in the final screw. "You too." "For big jobs," I teased without thinking. We locked eyes and laughed, but there was a spark, like a wire pulling taut. That Friday, it poured all day. Caleb came anyway, draped in a raincoat and muddy boots. I handed him a towel and hot tea, and we worked indoors, fixing the drawers of an old dresser. "This wood's got character." "Like you," he murmured, sanding it gently. I didn't dare reply, afraid my voice would shake. He left early that afternoon, saying he needed to grab some tools from his shop. I stayed behind, looking around the house. I saw how much it had changed. The walls felt alive. So did I. I took a warm bath, letting the steam soothe me. I closed my eyes, but his image lingered. His hands, his voice. That level leaning against the dining table. I smiled without meaning to. On Saturday, Caleb arrived early. He'd brought a workbench he'd built himself, massive, with slots and hooks. He walked me through it, pointing out each feature like a patient teacher. "This saw's over 2 feet long, heavy, but it cuts true. Strength and precision go hand in hand." There it was again, his way of talking about tools like they were life lessons. "Oh, about me?" At noon, I made a frittata with peppers and cheese. We ate on the porch under a trellis still bare of vines. Caleb didn't say much, but when he did, his words landed. "I didn't expect this house to change me so much," I said, avoiding his eyes. "I didn't think I'd find something worth building again." He looked at me, slow, direct. My stomach fluttered, not from fear, from certainty. That evening, he didn't leave right away. He lingered, checking his tools one by one, as if reluctant to go. I watered the garden, pretending not to notice. Finally, he walked over. "I'm off tomorrow, Sunday. But if you need anything, I'm around." "What if I need company?" I said softly. He paused, looked at me, didn't speak but nodded slightly. Then he left. That night I couldn't sleep. My chest was alive, like the house, mine, ours, was breathing. Sunday felt heavy, like the sky missed Caleb too. I woke early but stayed in bed. The house was too quiet without his footsteps, the clink of his tools. I made coffee, turned on the radio, and sat on the porch. I stared at his empty chair. Around noon, my phone rang. It was Sarah, a lifelong friend from Nashville. "I'm near Willow Creek this weekend. Mind if I swing by?" I said yes without hesitation. I needed a distraction, even a small one. I set out snacks and tidied up, buzzing with restless energy. I wasn't sure why I felt so on edge. Maybe the faint hope Caleb might show up while someone else was there. Sarah arrived with her usual spark and a bottle of wine. "You're glowing, Ellen. Is it the country air or something else?" "Just sawdust, nails, and tools longer than 2 feet," I joked. She burst out laughing. "Sounds intriguing. Where's he at?" "His name's Caleb. He's the carpenter fixing up the place." The talk moved on, but Caleb stayed in my thoughts. Later, Sarah wanted to check out the town. We hit a cozy diner on the square, packed with locals. We ordered some appetizers and sat by the window. Then across the glass I saw him. Caleb. He was with a woman in her early 30s, stylish, pretty. They were laughing. She touched his arm as she spoke. He seemed at ease, but different than with me. Lighter, freer. My stomach sank, not jealousy, confusion, a jolt. All those glances, quiet moments, coffees on the porch, had I imagined them. "That him?" Sarah asked, sensing my shift. I nodded. She went quiet. I didn't approach him, didn't want to. I barely touched my drink. I asked Sarah to head back. That night, a storm rolled in. Rain pounded the roof like it wanted to tear something loose. I wrapped myself in a blanket and sat by the unlit fireplace. I told myself I had no right to feel this way, that nothing was solid between Caleb and me. But feelings don't care about logic or labels. Monday morning, his truck pulled up right on time. He stepped out with his toolbox, that familiar steel level among them. His routine was the same, but something felt off. "Morning, Ellen." "Hey." An awkward pause hung between us. I didn't know if I should mention the woman at the diner. Was it my place? He worked with focus, polite, attentive, but the warmth, the teasing glances, the ease that filled the house were gone. By mid-morning, I couldn't hold it in. "I saw you yesterday at the diner." He stopped, met my eyes, no unease. "I was with my sister. She came up from Knoxville." Relief hit me so fast I almost laughed. "Oh," I didn't know what else to say. Thought something else, he asked, a faint smile breaking through. No, well, maybe, I don't know. If you'd come over, I'd have introduced you. His calm unraveled me. And just like that, his smile returned, the one that seemed to carry heavy things with ease. The rest of the day felt lighter. We finished hanging an old chandelier in the hall. When he flipped it on, the house glowed with soft, golden light. Now it feels like home, he said. Maybe it is, I replied without thinking. He looked at me, eyes steady, took a step closer, then paused. The moment hovered, fragile like that chandelier. Tomorrow we tackle the bedroom, sound good? Sure, lots to do there. When he left, I felt something new. Not doubt, not emptiness. A pull, like the house's heartbeat and mine were finally in sync. When Caleb walked in with his tools that morning, I knew change was coming. It wasn't just that we were working on the bedroom, the most personal part of the house. It was where I slept, dreamed, cried alone many nights. Now he was there with his tape measure, his screwdriver, and that presence that filled the room before he even spoke. Should we move the bed for more space? I nodded, helped him. As we shifted furniture, our hands brushed and the silence grew thick. The floor creaked beneath us like it felt the weight too. He started on the built-in wardrobe. The hinges were rusted, the frame needed bracing. He pulled out a long metal bar, over 2 feet, for leveling heavy structures. He set it with care, showing me how to balance force without harming the wall. The trick is finding the exact spot where everything holds, he said. I wasn't sure if he meant the wardrobe or us. We didn't talk much that day, but the silence wasn't strained. It was a breath, a build-up. At day's end, Caleb lingered. Mind if I grab a coffee before I head out? Not at all. I made it how he liked it, black, strong. We sat on the porch, facing the yard. The sun dipped, painting the sky gold. For a while, neither of us spoke. Know why I keep coming back, Ellen? The job. No, I'd have finished by now if it was just that. My breath slowed, heavy. Then why? Because being here feels like I'm part of something. This house, it's like a place I'm meant to be. I couldn't speak, just looked at him. He looked back. No rush, no fear, I thought this was it. The kiss, the start of something, but my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered, voice shaky. Miss Ellen Harper? Yes, that's me. We're calling from the hospital in Chattanooga. Your mother's been admitted. She's stable, but you should come. The world stopped. I looked at Caleb, tried to stay calm, but tears were already forming. My mom's in the hospital. He stood instantly. I'm driving you. No, it's fine, probably minor, I'll go check. I'm not letting you go alone. In the car, speeding down the highway, I thought of everything I hadn't said. To her. To him, my mom was asleep when we got there. The doctors said she'd had a serious arrhythmia, but caught it in time. I stayed by her side all night, holding her hand, whispering things I barely remembered. Caleb waited outside on a hallway bench. He didn't ask for anything, just stayed. At dawn, I found him. Thank you for being here. I'll always be here. I took his hand. A small gesture, but it held more truth than words could. Over the next few days, Caleb kept working at the house, even as I split time at the hospital. When I came back, I'd find progress. Curtains hung, window frames tightened, fresh flowers on the table. He didn't pry, he was just there. Until one evening, returning from the hospital, I found him on the porch, his face serious. Ellen, I got a call today. Work. Yeah, they offered me a chance to run a shop in Asheville. Big opportunity. My chest tightened. Are you taking it? I don't know. That's why I'm here. I need to know if there's a reason to stay. There it was, the moment, the balance point, the choice. I stepped closer, looked at him. You're already part of this house. But I can't ask you to stay just for me. You're not asking. I'm asking if it's worth staying. Before I could answer, a crack sounded. An unreinforced porch beam split with a sharp snap. He shoved me out of the way just in time. A chunk of wood fell, but the scare froze us. You okay? Yeah, but this can't wait. The house needs more of you, he smiled. And I need more of you. We hugged, slow, tight. Like tomorrow didn't exist. But when he left that night, I didn't know if he'd return. He didn't come the next day, or the day after, just his toolbox by the door, with a note. Sometimes you step back to build something lasting. I'll be back if you still want me to. So I waited. In a house more alive than ever, with a heart beating strong.